Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily commodity technical analysis update. I'll give you my financial opinions here. We're going to look at the dollar, yields, work our way through precious metals, and then commodities that I follow. And I still think we're in a commodity bull market. I think it's looking quite strong. And we're going to step through why I think that. So let's dive in here. And again, if you guys need any help with commodities, sign up for the Platinum membership, finding-value.com. Use the word discount in the coupon code. Get yourself a discount. And you can ask questions 7 a.m. Saturday, which is tomorrow, Mountain Standard Time. I've got a Zoom meeting that we can go on to, and you can ask questions. I cannot give financial advice or anything like that. It's just you can ask about commodities. You can ask about maybe what the chart looks like, something like that, and I can give you my opinions on what I would do. But that's what I've got. We'll dive in here, take a look at it. We've got the DXY. The DXY is a relative strength indicator. To me, it looks like it's trying to turn around. We've got large selling pressure, and it's starting to kind of slow down. We see a shift right here. We've got larger buying pressure, smaller selling pressure. And we could see this move on up. We could also see this thing fall, as this could be a continuation pattern where it dives out and down. So we do have a falling wedge before it. So we've got all these patterns that are developing where it looks like it could turn, and we'll see what happens. That's what I'm going to say. We'll see what happens here with the dollar. If I were to take I'm not going to take a guess even here. If we kind of look back, there could be some support somewhere in this region. There's a little bit here, a little bit through here. We do have some support looking back right at that red line. So we're probably coming up on support where this thing falls and kind of rests for a little bit and moves sideways. Generally speaking, the dollar is weaker on the back half of a commodity bull market. So this is kind of the strength as the interest rates come up. And then when the interest rates don't go up, they go sideways to lower. That is where the dollar kind of eats it. So a dollar, the strength and the weakness of the dollar is more or less the strength or the weakness of monetary tightness. It's relative monetary tightness between currencies is really what the DXY is. The 10-year yield is heading higher. Look at that. Nice fat candlestick to the upside, up 2.18%. Falling wedge, sideways move, and then the break. So that does look like it could continue higher for the 10-year yield. Higher yields, bond prices generally go down. I put this little trend line in there. We've broken that, and it continues to head lower with bond prices. This is the 20-year bond price, TLT. TYX, which is the 30-year yield, also heading higher, up quite a bit, 2.74%. And that's got a broken down trend that looks like it's ready to continue moving higher. TYX to TNX ratio. So remember, we had platinum up, we had oil up. This is basically just kind of moving sideways right now. It's right at this long-term support level. There's that long-term support level. Generally speaking, this is a great time to be looking for precious metals at a curve that is inverted this much, so to speak. So that's generally where a good spot to look at is precious metals. Looking at commodities. This is the commodity index. This is the dailies. We've got a declining wedge that we've broken out, a retest. And we've broken out of this trend line. It looks to me like we want to move higher. So the CRB index looks like it wants to go on up. I think that's probably going to be driven by oil. A lot of these commodity indexes are very heavily weighted in oil. And oil did well today. So CRB index was also up. And if we kind of back out, we're at this, support area. Through here, multiple support areas where we could potentially use that as a support area to head on higher. So that looks good. The ratio, CRB to S&P 500 ratio, still looking good to move higher. It's been steadily moving on up. Gold slightly higher, 5.44%. We've broken out of this trend line to the downside there. So that trend line we broke up to the upside. And we've just been moving up in this channel. Silver also moving slightly higher today. Again, it still looks good. We've got good buying pressure, small selling pressure all throughout this entire thing. Hopefully that momentum continues higher. And then platinum killing it today, about $44 almost, $43.50. 4.44%, and putting in a big bullish engulfing. Engulfing the ones before it. This is bullish to move higher. Whenever you get the big green candlestick army coming in, smaller selling pressure. These are all small selling pressure days. That is bullish for a move higher. XAU to gold ratio, we are continuing to kind of grind sideways, 0.4%, or 0.35, I should say. So we're just grinding sideways. We still haven't broken out for the line of, I call it the line of happiness. The line of happiness is this. So when we break this, all of you guys who've been suffering in the gold and silver trade, you'll be happy then. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I know. Everybody wants us to be there. I get it. Lower highs. Lower highs are a good thing. That means that we are making progress to that line of happiness. GDX, slightly higher. Again, we're right at this resistance line, that blue line going across. We're right there, hitting our head on it. We just got to break through it. SILJ up 1.24 or 1.23%. Again, we've got a lot of resistance in this general vicinity in that box there. We got a lot of work ahead of us. Is the work worth it? Oh, of course it is. Of course it is. It's not much work for an investor, but I'm just saying it could be sticky going through those areas. But we're up 1.23% today. Crude oil up 2.8%. We're almost at 80 bucks, 79.66. Little bit of a wick at the top. It wasn't the strongest of all closings, but nonetheless, still looks good. Broken downtrend, momentum is to the upside. So that looks good. Big picture view, if we were to kind of look, I think we've got a lot of resistance up here. You get above, and we want to get into that box, close up in there, and break through it. So our goal is, we've got support down here. The more it trades in a certain area, the more support you've got underneath it. Good support at 70. We're coming on our way back up. We're going to get a little bit of resistance as we get through this section here. So 80 all the way up to about 110. Lots of resistance through there. There's a reason they did a strategic petroleum dump here. Otherwise, this thing would have been probably to La La Land or something. But that's crude oil. Natural gas also getting a bounce today, 2.6%. Let's zoom in on the dailies here real quick. See what we got. And we're right at support. We're right at support. Now, I'm going to say this, all right? This thing, we don't know if it bottomed yet. This is not a reversal candlestick. It's a small little candlestick. It could be, if you were to look at this, it could be an inverted bloody nose where it could go lower. Or we could still have that reversal candlestick. We could also go down to 440. So I like natural gas right here. I like this general vicinity. This whole area. And looking at some of these natural gas companies, I'd be looking quite hard right now. That's what I would be doing. And at the Platinum question and answer session, I'll talk about potential companies. XOP, yeah, you know me. We got the hammer candlestick yesterday, heading higher today. Looks quite strong where it finished. Hopefully that momentum can continue to the upside. Looks really good. Big picture view, we're just kind of squeezing here into this kind of pattern here. It's squeezing until we break, and then it's going to be see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, gone. But we are squeezing right now. OIH is doing a similar thing today, up 3.78%. Nice, good, strong closing today. You can kind of see this here, though. Do we have one last thing where we kind of break down, or are we going to just rocket on higher? I'm not exactly sure. We're going to have to wait and see what the traders want to do, investors. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, Nice big bullish engulfing today. This is the day I wanted to see, guys. I said, hey, look, we need to see buying pressure. Big green candlestick, the green army. This is where it starts. It starts with a green candlestick, bullish engulfing. We could have a bullish piercing or a hammer candlestick or some sort of reversal candlestick is usually what it kind of reverses off of. So we're starting, I think, the potential move to go higher for the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Doesn't mean it will be immediate. We could still go down. We could drift around. We could do this. But the start is large green candlesticks, small selling pressure days. That's the start. So we're starting to move. Again, the big breakout line that we want to break is right above us at 1815. And we want to get above that. A strong closing would be like 20 plus. Would be a really strong closing. And that would be, see you wouldn't want to be you type style movement. URNM also throwing in a good candlestick today, 2% up. Still, we still have a lot of red over here. The red guys are still occupying. This is Occupy Red Street. And I want to see the green candlesticks come in, guys. I got to see this basically change the characteristic over here. It hasn't done that yet. I think we're close, though. We've got a lot of really good chart patterns in uranium in the individual companies like Kazatomprom. CCJ is coming around. I saw a bullish engulfing there. I do think it's coming. Patience is going to be the key here. Now, TAN selling off a little bit, 1.32% down today. Again, though, it doesn't look horrible here. We've got our consolidation, cut it in half. This side looks like this side, which will eventually most likely move on up, given the pattern. Now, I don't have conviction in solar and wind. I think it's expensive, and I think it's uncompetitive, and I think it relies solely off of subsidies from fossil fuels and governments. So this isn't a big, I'm not overweight in this. I don't have a ton of money in it, just full disclosure. COPX, 1.7%. We got the bloody nose on the monthly candlestick basis. It's probably going to close somewhere around there. Because as we got a week left. We got 1 week left. We zoom into the dailies. We still have good buying pressure showing up here. So it's a battle between the buyers and the sellers. If I were to kind of do something like this, it looks something like that, which is basically a flag pattern. And it'll probably resolve itself upward at some point. Looking at lithium, lithium's still feeling the hurt a little bit, down 0.63%. Yeah, and that's not too bad, but you look at the big picture view, this thing does look like it wants to go down. Big selling pressure days all through this guy, all over here. That is what a pullback looks like. Now, we may not fall that much further. There is support right where we're at down in this general vicinity. The pattern that I usually see looks like this, and you come back to that level there. That's basically what we've got. So I think in this area, I would be starting to look at potential lithium companies if we get positive movements in the upward direction first. But it's always best to find your companies, get them on a watch list, start watching them, and then seeing what they're doing. If they're trying to put in bottoming patterns or bottoming candlesticks, that's when you want to look. REMX, we still have some selling pressure over here on the monthly candlestick basis. We go to the dailies. Looks like we're pretty low down here. And we've come back here a couple of times before. We've got a lot of support resistance that traded back in this general vicinity there. So I do think we have support underneath us. And I'd be looking for a reversal candlestick at some point coming up in rare earths. But it hasn't turned yet. It's very similar to lithium. But when it does turn, these rare earth and lithiums, they've got a lot of bounce. Very big moves can happen out of these sectors. The S&P 500 holding its own today, 0.6%. It does look like it's trying to put in a little bottom here. Basically, if you were to take this kind of opening here, if this is the pattern, and you kind of project where it kind of pops out, I mean, that's roughly where it would be as a move, and we basically hit that move. So it's not a huge pattern of this rising wedge. We kind of popped out, and this could go higher if it wants to move. It's a possibility. I'm not playing anything through the S&P 500. I'm doing it all through commodities, but it's something I watch. Same with the NASDAQ, same similar setup. We have basically a pattern that looks like that. Oh my God, I didn't know I was a kindergartner. I can't draw, guys. But here's the pattern that I see. It's kind of came up into a corner and we popped out. And it's a small pattern. It's not a huge pattern. I know everybody's super bearish on the overall markets. I am also not a bull on it, but you can kind of see a little bit. We still have some bearish movements in here. Looking at the monthly candlesticks, we still have some pretty big selling pressure, and the buyers haven't showed up yet. These are two small candlesticks here. The buyers are not in control. The sellers are. So I would agree that we could still potentially head lower, especially if interest rates continue higher like they are. EEM, this is a bullish formation. It's called the bloody nose on a monthly. And I still think everything looks good. Broken down trend line. We're just moving sideways. We could do a full retest where we go down a little bit more, but emerging markets looks good. XHB, which is the home builders ETF, still looking good. I don't see the selling pressure. See, there's a lack of large down red candlesticks, like the big close to opening price over here. So I still think we could potentially go higher. I think interest rates are kind of holding this thing down, but to me, this looks like a double bottom. There's your double bottom and then a break higher eventually. Moo up 0.8%. It looks to me like this wants to go on up. Looks very good for a move higher. Copper still at that long-term resistance line. Guys, we're ready for a break here at some point. There's a lot of resistance at this line here. It's kind of the last hurrah of the sellers. But when we break through this, I think we're going to get a big move out of copper. And it looks like we're lining up for a potential move like that. So get ready here. I think it's ready to burst. I've got some really good companies if you guys want to ask me during the platinum session. I do have a favorite that someone had shared, and I've been looking at it. I think it looks really good. Ask me about it during the question and answer session, guys. I'll show you what it looks like. And I think we could see a big move in copper, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Lumber, basically riding on this support zone. I'll show you what that looks like. This is the support zone going across. It's a strong support zone. So if you were to look at this from a big long-term perspective, everyone sees the decline. Oh my God, everything's crashing. Well, I mean, this is also like a massive run-up where we broke out of this declining trend line here from 1993 all the way on. We broke out, came all the way up, and then we did a full retest out. This is where I buy it. That's exactly where I like to look. So lumber looks actually really good in my opinion, and we're right on support. Looking at iron ore has broken to the upside. Very difficult to see here. Let's do the weeklies here. It has broken. It's like up in here, and we've consolidated. Going to break to the upside, which we did, and the Baltic Dry Index also mimics this over time. But we were a little bit down today. Nickel up 2.8%. This guy's been a beast. All I see here is a continuation pattern for a move that could potentially head higher in the future. So nickel's looking real good. We've got aluminum that's just been moving sideways. I'm a big bull on aluminum. I think aluminum is going to be a great spot to be. And I do have a couple of companies to play it. Baltic Dry Index, broken out of its falling wedge. This will go higher. We're right at resistance. Now, guys, this is a big pattern. And I think we're going to move a lot higher. This is a big resistance line that we have to break through first. So be patient. I do think that we are somewhere like in here, if we were to compare it. Something on the lines of that. And we could see a very big move in the Baltic Dry Index with China reopening. We've got coal up against resistance. It hasn't moved today. It's just moving sideways. And there's your resistance. We keep hitting our head on it, moving alongside it. And there's a strong selling pressure up there. That's why we keep hitting that resistance. Ethereum just moving sideways. Not really much to report there. Same with Bitcoin, just moving sideways. I still think they look neutral. You know, I see moments of greatness and I see moments of weakness all over this chart on the right hand side here. So hopefully you guys are doing all right today. We had a pretty good move in energy. I think uranium still coiling up. I think that's a good spot to be looking. I think energy sector is really good. We've broken that downtrend in oil. I think natural gas will bottom out a little bit here. Whenever Freeport gets their LNG terminal back online, they always keep delaying the openings. So I think when that opens, we'll be going higher, and there'll be an opportunity there for natural gas. But overall, guys, I think copper looks good. I think the overall markets in terms of commodities looks very strong, very bullish. I'm buying it myself. Obviously not advice or anything like that. But yeah, I'm still holding on. I've been averaging in, finding really good buys, and trying to catch the bottoms of whatever these things are as best I can. That's all you can do. If you guys like the content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you guys haven't joined the community, finding-value.com is a community that we would love to have you there. Come to our Platinum and question and answer session. Ask whatever you want. Doesn't matter how much experience you have investing. You could be completely new. I am thinking about putting a training session together so you guys can ask back and forth about technical analysis. And that's just one tool. We can also go and use technical analysis on ratios. We can use it and look at some of the market conditions that I follow. We can kind of go over all that stuff if you guys have questions. I've done a couple of trainings already, but I'll continue to do them as more people sign up. You guys all have your opportunity to ask questions. So love to have you on the website. Love to have you in the community. We've got our own Discord channel as well. And you can see a lot of people talk stocks. A lot of people do charting. They do all sorts of stuff. And you can ask questions there and see what other people think. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.